Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm going to give this a shot, although not particularly sure if I'm going to do it right. I'm going to start out, first of all, to tell you about a memory. I figured I'd do both. I have my poem ready as well. I tried to think about scents that evoke emotions. Obviously, the sense is so tied to the brain that that's a strong one for most people. And what I came up with was wood smoke. No matter where I live, where I have lived, or where I travel, no matter where I am, if I smell wood smoke, I'm transported back to Kentucky, where I grew up on a farm. We lived in a house that was, at one point, a one-room log cabin, and the only heating we had was a wood-burning stove, and my dad would chop wood before he left when I was 7. The winter and fall before he left, I remember being outside with him, and he had cut down a very long tree, and it was lying in the ground. He was chopping off wheels of it, just circular bits of it, and then breaking that up into firewood. And I was on the other end of the tree sitting, and not really realizing that I was sitting on a clump of poison ivy as well. And my dad, not an educated man, was a bright man, was a naturalist, had grown up and taught himself so much about nature that as soon as he saw it, he knew what had happened. And he sent me in to take off my clothes and take a shower and all that kind of stuff. But being a kid, I didn't. You have to realize that back in the 80s, when I was little, cartoons didn't come on after noon. So when I wandered into my house wearing my coral salmony pink hoodie and my jeans, instead of taking them off, I went into the living room and sat down to watch television because there was a cartoon on. I didn't realize at the time that it was Charlotte's Web. If you've ever seen it or read the book, then you know it's kind of teary, and when you're a 6-year-old girl, 7-year-old girl, yeah. So my dad came in and he saw me sitting there on the floor, just bawling my eyes out, using my coral pink hoodie as a tissue. And he should have been mad because I didn't do what he said, and I was going to end up with poison ivy. He should have been mad, but he wasn't. And I think wood smoke reminds me of that, reminds me of my dad. And very few things do. So, there's one, and this is a poem. It's untitled. It's by Christine Donald. It's in an anthology called Ain't I a Woman, which I love. I'm just going to read it to you, and you can make whatever associations you like out of it. The thin women woo each other with phrases from books and old letters, setting torch to the blue touch paper of familiar expectation, flaring up with a 50% mixture of hot air and pure fuel. Insecure in courtship, inarticulate in love, the fat woman's emotions lag behind, both her dreams and her realities. Fearful to lay claim to the thin conventions of romance, afraid of bulging out of the slinky dress of sex on fire. Not saying I think it's true or false, just saying I find it to be a thought-provoking poem.